Ole! Ole!
Welcome, everyone, to the fifth element of busting out. Oh my God, did we have breaking news? We are joined today by the host of Turnbuckle Talk, the creator of Turnbuckle Studios, Carl Carafel. Welcome to Busting Out.
Thank you so much for having me this week. I know that things didn't go as planned for you, but I'm glad that a reach out was given and that I could be here. Thank you.
Speaking of Turnbuckle Talk.
I mean, we were replaced by a natural with a living legend, one might say. But yeah, good afternoon, Joe. Thank you for hopping on. We appreciate it. How are you doing And how is everyone else doing? How is your Sunday morning treating you? Mine is doing great. Saints are playing. I'm about to have a heart attack. Bobby, how are you, my friend?
Well,
The Brunch Busters are back.
They are back. And, as far as outside of the world of professional wrestling sports go, I got my heart attack over with this morning already because Manchester United already blew it and tied their game. So, yes, a very boring 0-0 draw in the world of professional soccer. But again, I won't bore my Brunch Buster brother to the side of me with soccer-related talk here this morning.
Thank you. I don't even remember what movie I know that. I think it was like Dumb and Dumber, I want to say, where they're like, I'm not going to bore you with all that. He's like, oh, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, it is Dumb and Dumber.
It is. Yeah.
We got Ed Fry's joining us as well too in the chat. Wild Carl, that's right. And if you ever want to be on Bustin' Out, you got to be a little crazy, a little wild, a little bit mad because hanging out with the Brunch Busters, it's a mad world, that's for sure.
Hey man, you can't be fucking crazy without you. So just know.
Joe says on my way to work, so watching you guys will be the only highlight of my entire day.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but thank you nonetheless.
But what a nice little week of professional wrestling we had. I mean, we start from last Saturday where we saw the return of Bray Wyatt. We saw Canada get a little elite this week. And we perhaps saw a reaction from one person down below, and I don't mean my genitalias, I mean Carl. But we saw the return of some Good Brothers. Let's just kind of go around the horn. What was everyone's favorite moment of this week? Carl, let's start with you.
Oh, by far, Bray Wyatt. As much as I love the Good Brothers, I've always been a fan of the Good Brothers. By far, this return of Bray Wyatt has been absolutely fantastic. I'm loving what the WWE has been doing with this entire return and how they've continued things on not only Monday night, but also coming through to Friday night over on SmackDown. Things are just kind of getting a little insane in the membrane, but in a very good way.
Very true.
I don't know why that reminded me of Swollen Members.
Different band. Entirely.
If you're not Canadian, then you don't know them at all. Hell, even if you are Canadian, you still might not know who they are.
This is true. But yeah, for myself, yeah, we're going to talk about Bray in length and stuff like that too. There's no denying that is one of the biggest talking points of the week. But a little bit more on the side of where I like to venture a little bit. And big news coming out of MLW as they announced the return of MLW's weekly programming Fusion coming on November the 3rd with the Battle Riot 4 starting that new season off and no longer necessarily on the YouTube channel. This is now going to be over at Pro Wrestling Television, which is free to join. So nobody has to worry. You'll still get your fix of MLW absolutely free. And they're going to have their entire back catalog going on Pro Wrestling TV as well too. So a chance to catch up on all things MLW coming up in November.
Yeah. I'm going to be remiss because I've been, my favorite part of the day is Dare Amazing joining in the chat. How are you doing today? Amazing. Let us know what your favorite thing of this week in professional wrestling was. We'd like to hear it. We like to get involved in our panel and our chat here and talk about everything. But one of the things I like, and I've been clamoring on this one for a while, is that I'm actually going to go to AEW for this one, which might shock a lot of bearded people. But yes, it's going to be a thing. Yeah. What I enjoyed was finally AEW made Pac look like a goddamn main event talent. For the first time, they made what he was doing one of their most important things. And despite that, maybe the fact that I did not like the fact that he, dropped a title to Orange Cassidy, nonetheless, it made Pac and his championship mean like the most important thing of that night. And I was very happy because I think Pac is one of the most underutilized talents out there. I think the WWE made a grand mistake of letting him go and treating him the way they did. I thought AEW was a little hypocritical for not using him ever, even though he was one of the few people, touchdown Saints, hell yeah. But the fact that, like he was used for a while, he's one of the few guys that got a clean win on Kenny Omega. Hasn't really done a lot. I was very happy that, he was giving a chance to not only become the first ever 2-time champion in AEW, but now a main event guy. And I thought him and Orange Cassidy put on a wicked match.
Fair.
Very fair. Fair enough. Very much so. I do have to say though that when Dare Amazing comes in, maybe we need to put a little bit more pomp and circumstance on that name. Daramazing something maybe, I don't know, because
like an accent on it.
Yeah, just a little bit of extra like prestige on that.
We need like an effect or something like that where we just like get like some sort of like stars like bust out, when the name pops up on the screen.
Right? That would be wicked cool.
Yeah. Wait. We got to bust out on, like, what are you talking about?
That's right.
I guess it is kind of
everything pops on busting out.
Sorry, I'm not used to getting pops lately. This is new to me. What are those?
Hey, speaking of something cool, before we even start talking about the wrestling stuff, congratulations, Chris Parrish. You're now a Twitch affiliate.
Yeah, sometimes my twitching abilities is getting recognized, so I appreciate that. No, I'm just kidding. It is Twitch, the channel, and I definitely could not have done it with everyone else out there supporting me. So thank you so much. Just like this young lady in the chat, Melball Collins, gentlemen. Yes, there is gentlemen. Ooh, what say you?
Two gentlemen and a Bobby on screen right here this morning.
Well, if I'm a gentleman, then I don't know what to tell you. But speaking of something not so gentle, we got a nice return on Friday Night SmackDown to what seemed like a real rendition of Wyndham Rotunda on that. I just want to get your guys' thoughts because it's something, Bobby, I was talking to you about before we went live. The amount of emotional promos in professional wrestling is increasing a lot. And I have a lot of time for it. I was watching a Table for Three with Jerry Lawler, Bret Hart, and Kane. And Jerry Lawler said he finds that realism can bring the most amount of money in professional wrestling when done right. And Bobby, you're saying that you can definitely see that this was a character Bray Wyatt was portraying, also a rendition of the Bray Wyatt character he's never shown. But this might have been one of the more, I don't want to say revealing, but more sympathetic forms of Bray Wyatt, so to speak. And I thought it was really good because we also saw guys like Hangman Page cut a very intense emotional promo against Jon Moxley. And just in the past, we've been seeing the increase of these promos. What are your guys' thoughts about this? But let's kind of specifically go to Bray Wyatt. Your thoughts on getting let in this specific door of Bray Wyatt?
See, I'll say what we were talking about earlier. Like, yes, I think it's somewhat character driven, but it's only character driven, but based on reality at the same time. What we got was a new version of Bray Wyatt. And I think this is what's going to tie into what we saw at the end of the promo with what we saw on screen, which is allegedly going to be known as Uncle Howdy. I believe that this could be a split personality. So the great part is that Wyndham Rotunda was given the permission to go out and say the things that he truly felt. I truly 100% believe that there was truth behind the promo he was delivering, thanking the fans, saying that he was in a dark place and you didn't give up on me. And I thought everything I had done was all for nothing and stuff like that. And it was truly heartfelt right here. Everybody was touched by it. I know they were. And I believe at the same time, there was a little character in it. I do believe that we are going to get this true life Wyndham Rotunda-esque character within the Bray Wyatt aspect. I believe where the tie-in with Uncle Howdy comes, and we can talk about this some more, is that is going to be a split personality. This is going to be his other side that telling him, you got to go to those dark places. You got to go to those areas you don't want to go to like you used to, in order to get to the heights and levels that you need to moving forward if you want to continue to rise to the top of this company. I believe we're going to see more unfold. I do like how they introduced this Friday Night SmackDown. They had everybody gripped, and when that light went off right in the middle of him thanking and saying all these things, I think Ed said, I wish they run out of time. Did they run out of time though? I thought it felt like it was done intentionally the way it was done myself.
I've learned to assume anything Bray Wyatt is doing or in the process of doing is done specifically. But could have been a situation of them running on time. Maybe. I mean, things happen, and that's fine. But I thought, and Carl, I know I don't want to like step on your toes because I knew you were going to say something, but I do feel that even if they cut him off, it was for the better, because that's what professional wrestling is great at. When the product is amazing and they leave you wanting more, that's exactly what pro wrestling, when it's on its hottest times, should be doing every week.
That's kind of the point that I was going to get to as well, even if it was a run out of time type of situation. We all know that Triple H is the one that's running things in the back. Paul is a very good mind for the business. He has been for a very long time. So if it was a matter of, hey, Wyndham's going a little long, or he's getting a little winded, long-winded in his speech, we need to do this now. And that, that button was pushed. Okay. It felt natural, if I can use that word. It felt natural in the way that it all happened and progressed. And yeah, Bobby, like you're saying there, right? Talking about like split personality thing. I was talking with Corporate Joe about this after it happened as well. And I even mentioned to him, I said, this is very reminiscent of like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of scenario that's going on here. And personally, I'm okay with it. And taking this from my buddy Draven, Draven on Twitter. This is what he caught out of that last little promo piece when the lights went dark. Pretty much it says, "Oh, little one, come with me. Your life is done. Forget the future. Forget the past. Life is over. Breathe your last. You got no idea who you're dealing with, but you will."
Yeah.
Right? So, like, very much so reminiscent of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of thing. And that's kind of what I'm equating it to right now. There's been a lot of different movies, television shows, all of this different stuff that's come out dealing with Jekyll and Hyde. This is what I'm seeing, and I'm loving it, to be honest with you right now.
And that Jekyll and Hyde thing plays kind of, like where The Exorcist comes from as well, too. And the idea of this character, this entity that we're seeing on screen being referred to as Uncle Howdy, is kind of a reference to Captain Howdy, which is the entity that then takes over Reagan in The Exorcist, that possesses her and turns her into the evil version that you see.
Right.
Yeah. What I think is amazing is that there are so many odes to, things that were inspired by Bray Wyatt that he uses today. And he has this amazing creative capability of just bringing it all together. As you see, like with little nuances, whether it's with his personalities that he's had, which, now you kind of think the Wyndham Six is in reference to the personalities of Bray Wyatt, which, if that's the case, is amazing. But then he's able to humanize every personality, which is even more insane. But then he does little things like as you say, refer to the like Exorcist, or even by coming out, that's an ode to a family member of him in Luke Harper, Brody Lee. It's just amazing to see how he's able to connect so many dots when maybe the average person has no idea how they're even able to be connected at all.
And I'm glad you brought up Luke Harper as well, too, because one of the most sentimental things about this promo was this is the first time publicly on screen, the Bray's been able to address the loss of Luke Harper and his other friend that he references as well too, that both lost their lives during the time that he was away from the WWE. He never got to pay those proper tributes the way that he wanted to, so it was very sentimental. But I got to throw this out. The WWE has also registered the name Uncle Harper, and rumors are that one of the reveals within the new faction that Bray Wyatt might be leading is a character that will be referred to as Uncle Harper as a tribute to Luke Harper. Who do you guys feel might be able to portray this role and do it justice in a way that doesn't feel like you're insulting the legacy of the fallen Brody Lee?
I will go with 2 names: Braun Strowman, Eric Rowan.
Fair. Very fair.
I was going to say Redbeard. That was, yeah.
And that's exactly my thoughts as well too. I think anyone outside, especially the original iteration of Bray Wyatt within the WWE, that would have spent the time there with Brody Lee himself, I think is the only justifiable way that you can pull somebody into that and not insult the fans and insult that legacy to a point where there's going to be a mass backlash coming at you from the wrestling community.
I mean, what if like the voice, like that main character that he has, like the mask, what happens if that mask is Uncle Harper?
It's supposed to be Uncle Howdy, because there was 2 trademarks that were registered, and they're saying that this one that we're seeing on screen is the Uncle Howdy version kind of thing, and the Uncle Harper has yet to be introduced to the mix.
Okay.
Now, the only other name that I can think of would be Bo Dallas.
Yeah.
That could maybe play an Uncle Harper type of situation, because the real life brothers that, kayfabe, cat's out of the bag. Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas are real life family.
Yeah.
Go figure.
And IRS is our dad. Tell me if that checks in.
Yeah.
That was actually really good. Sorry.
Yeah, that was good.
But Ed's got a comment there that I just want to speak to for a moment there, where he says -1. I would love if it was somehow -1. Unfortunately, I don't think that it will be, considering that Tony Khan has already pretty much given -1 a contract. When he turns of age, he's pretty much already got a buy into the company, as long as it's still around. Joe there, yeah, that's a good comment too. But I mean, there are a couple of different names that you could put out there.
I think the only thing I hope is that, I don't believe that it's not going to be in bad taste when it comes to Bray Wyatt and paying respects to the people in his past. Another name that I'm going to throw in, he's still with us in this world. He's a very huge inspiration to Bray Wyatt, but Dan Spivey. I would love to see him and Bray do something at one point. The guy known as Waylon Mercy, who is basically the inspiration to Mercy the Buzzard.
Mm-hmm.
It's why he wears those, Hawaiian, shirts and stuff like that, based off Robert De Niro's character in Cape Fear. It's just absolutely amazing to see the symbolism, but to see the imagery, but also all these things come to life. But I would love to see those 2 minds work together. And now with Triple H, I've learned that anything is, they say, with Vince, they said, never say never. With Triple H, I just say anything is possible.
Yeah, it's very true. And I love that idea too, because I'm a big fan of Waylon Mercy. I felt like he was ahead of his time when he entered the WWE fold in the 1990s. Dan Spivey, a great talent as well too, behind that character. And I think it's been great that Bray's done the homage. And that was one of the things I picked up on at Extreme Rules, is when they showed the Mercy the Buzzard character, is that the full getup that Mercy was wearing was in fact the same exact outfits that Waylon Mercy would wear back in the 1990s.
Yeah. One of the things that I thought would be cool, and I don't know if I wanted to kind of get your guys' thoughts on this, because sometimes I think more outside of the box than I should. But what happens if Dan Spivey, or Waylon Mercy, as you will, ended up being the father of Bray Wyatt?
That's a real throwback there for sure. Big time. I
But
mean,
what would your guys' thoughts be if they did something along that line?
I mean, for me, I don't think it's terrible because I grew up with that character. I understand. There's a lot of modern fans that just wouldn't get it. I mean,
No.
unless you're just gonna not throw back and say like this is the guy from the 1990s, but you're still gonna call him Waylon Mercy and play up that he's the father or leader of Bray Wyatt all this time. It could work, but again, trying to go back and explain to most fans, hey, if you check out 1990s and watch these promos and watch this, most of them aren't going to, and it's a lot of work trying to introduce them to it in that sense. So I'm not opposed to Dan Spivey being involved. I think that's fantastic, but I think over explaining would become very difficult for a lot of wrestling fans and probably pointless too. I think you'd eat up a lot of TV time with the explanations.
And I think with that as well, I mean, most of the fans today are aware of who Bray Wyatt's father is.
Yeah.
Right. So to try to throw this type of curve in there, again, without all that back explanation is going to be really difficult. I could see, though, that, like Uncle Howdy could be Waylon Mercy or Dan Spivey or whatever you want to call him. That could be, right? Because then that kind of ties in to what you're saying, Parrish, about, maybe we could use
in case you're really going right there. I thought I'd throw you off point with that comment.
To answer Joe's question, though, I'm pretty sure that kid's all grown up and got a profession as a handyman these days. So.
Well, he also made his WrestleMania debut in the Sami Zayn Johnny Knoxville match. If you have,
right, he was slapping some meat there.
Yeah. So, hey man, my thoughts are stupid. All right, don't you know? But yeah, I also want to let people know that I have no idea if this is going to happen, but in about 3 minutes time, you might see an ad break. So just don't be weary of this. I don't know. I'm new to this. When I say this is my first day, I'm not lying.
Which also means that people can sub now. And if they want to get rid of those ad breaks, they start subbing. You don't have to watch commercials, and you can find out the kind of BS that we're going to talk about BO while you're away watching commercials.
Oh my God, BO. Such a bad acronym for a show, but perfect for us.
Don't worry, it's got the no symbol around it. It's no BO. You know.
Oh, so many references. But one of the things I do want to kind of go out there is we're seeing kind of a split personality go out of Liv Morgan as well in WWE. And there's a big connection that she could be a part of Bray Wyatt saying, yeah, Carl, I don't think you expected me to get back on track, did you?
No.
But yeah, and we started kind of seeing this on SmackDown a little bit. What are your guys' thoughts about Liv Morgan potentially adapting and adopting the split personality thing and potentially joining Bray Wyatt as we kind of continue talking about Bray Wyatt right now?
So as you spoke and said that name Liv Morgan and everything that's happening with Liv Morgan, my heart rate shot up to 90 beats per minute from a regular about 70.
69 is nicer.
Actually, it does say 69 resting.
Nice.
It does. Literally, it does. But yeah, I am 100% very, very happy and very cool about that. Let's see if that shows up. Oh, it doesn't because I just took it off. It was there for a second.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Liv Morgan. Yeah. I'm all down for it. I'm all down for it.
Bobby, your thoughts that aren't involving erectile.
No, okay. No. When it comes down to it, what I want to see from this thing is this not be an opportunity to get a bunch of names in there that don't need the push. And I think Liv Morgan could use this. Again, I think things fell a little bit flat with her title run and people are looking for a change from her. It's not that they don't like Liv. That's not what's in question here. It's the fact that they want something different. And that's what they're going to get with this opportunity. If she does join the Wyatt Six, as we're referencing them right now, that would be good for someone like Liv. Again, I like the idea of bringing in a Bo Dallas, because Bo is somebody who I think has all that potential, could use that faction to help build them as well too. And I think that some of the other names that have been tossed around, it's the right direction for a faction led by a guy who's probably one of the most over characters in professional wrestling in the last couple decades. Wrestling points aside, I mean, again, Bray Wyatt might not be the one that's giving you those 5-star memorable matches, but on a character level, he blows everybody right out the water. And you could protect that whole group by having Bray mostly as a leader and his involvement be more the big match opportunities where you can get someone to work with that can go in there and give him that level of matchup that he needs to really continue to build his aura and everything like that. And then have him in the corner of all these young up and comers, including his own brother, Bo Dallas, who I think, God, I wish they'd just change that to Taylor Rotunda. Bo Dallas was cool when it had that run, but I think Taylor Rotunda is just a better name in general. I think that would be cool. I think there's been mentions of Joe Gacy from NXT being a possibility. I'm not opposed to that. There's questions about Waylon Mercy. Mercy the Buzzard, mind you, being two possibilities. And one brought up was, of course, I want to call him Matty Wahlberg because I know that's what he went by on the Indies. But we're talking about Grayson Waller from NXT possibly being in that role. Or the other one that's been brought up is Baron Corbin. And I'm like, I started thinking about it. We haven't seen a whole lot of Corbin on TV as of late. I mean,
well, it's funny that you go there because there is speculation that Triple H wants to make that character more badass. And I say that character because I don't think it's out of the realm that when we do see the artist we currently know as Happy Corbin come back as Baron Corbin again. And I wouldn't be surprised if you want to make somebody more badass, maybe take the word happy out. So I'm just going to... Unless they're talking about Happy Gilmore, because that guy's badass, despite being named Happy.
It's the only exception.
Yeah. But with that being said,
where?
It's a thing card.
Then I got to open a new one already.
Oh, give me a hell yeah. But no, and you're talking about Bo Dallas. I do have a strong feeling that when we see him back in WWE, he probably will have a name change, because I think if you want him to be a part of this, I mean, you want to take away all this believe, all this gimmick stuff that comes with the Bo Dallas character. And plus, like, why would you have Bo Dallas there when you have a chance to reinvent a new character? So I think when it comes to Triple H, I think he's more finger on the pulse when it comes to it. And he's already said that when it comes to Bray Wyatt, you just have to direct him into certain ways because his mind will go 50 shades of everywhere. So, but no, I mean,
while Triple H is fingering a lot of things, Bo Dallas coming back as Bo Dallas could still kind of work if you were to take this whole Bo leave type of thing and he becomes almost like a prophet, like a preacher. Like, you need to believe in Uncle Howdy, or you need to believe in what is happening with Bray Wyatt, right? Which would still be able to bring back the Bo Dallas that, people from a few years ago would know and understand, and then still have a little bit of a backlog for those people that may not even know who Bo Dallas is to be able to go back and take a look, which then in turn allows them to plug for the network so that people can subscribe. So, I mean, yeah, like there's a whole big logistical bullshit around all of it that Bo Dallas could work. I don't want it, but it could work.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of where they missed the mark with Bo Dallas in the first place, is the whole idea is that I really think that he should have had followers around him as people that Bo believed in his prophecies and stuff like that kind of thing. I think that's where it could have taken a new spin and gone well for him. I think he's an underappreciated talent. And when I say this, it's like the guy can switch on to different styles just as much as his brother can in so many ways. And that's one of the great things about the Rotunda family is they have that capability of characterizing themselves and making it work and stuff. And that's evident in the fact that Bo changed from that way he was into the character he became under, the Miz when he was teaming up with Curtis Axel there. And then if you go and watch the Marine movie that they put him into, as terrible as that particular movie is, the highlight from it is how good an actor Taylor Rotunda actually is, because he is not in any way, shape, or form Bo Dallas in a movie trying to be somebody else. He is Taylor Rotunda, fantastic actor, putting on an acting persona in a movie the way he was supposed to. And it really shows how much they missed the mark on a guy who has got ample amounts of ability. And again, you're talking about somebody, he's younger than Bray being 35. I mean, you got somebody who's got quite a bit of years and mileage on him before he has to start slowing it down and stuff like that. You've got a potential, at least a guy who can make some good runs with your Intercontinental titles or your tag titles, anything like that. I'm not immediately going to jump the gun on world titles because not everybody has to be a world champion. But again, the mid-card titles, the tag titles, he could own those divisions quite nicely.
Well, you're talking about slowing down and jump starting, and one way to get around that is by going to rogueenergy.com and using the code word OLE pods and get 10% off your order. And you can check out not only Rogue, as you see in one corner, but scan that QR code because there's nothing but amazing selection, whether it's drinks, whether it's protein powder, but they're all vegan too. And Bobby, you can maybe more of this than I do, but I mean, if you take Rogue, you're not going to slow down. You're going to get a better jump start to your next moment, aren't you?
That's right. So it's the energy drink alternative. It is an energy drink mix for people who like to stream, stay up all night, or maybe a couple partiers like myself and Pop Smokes Thursday night. You want to stay up late. You want to throw down some Rogue Energy because, again, you might be watching your health as you get a little bit older. Sometimes we have to, it's just one of those things. So Rogue Energy offers a low sugar, low calorie, vegan friendly alternative to the average energy drinks out there. And they've got a bunch of wonderful flavors to choose from. So just in case you like something that's a little bit more, say, coffee cappuccino based, they might have a flavor for you. You like something fruity, they might have something for you. They got something for everyone. So go check them out. Rogue Energy, they are good people and they're going to give you a great start to your energetic life.
Yeah, make sure you use the code word OLE pods, get 10% because right now and right this moment, it's no better time to go rogue. As we're talking about Bray Wyatt right now and kind of everything about that, I do want to take this time to kind of maybe switch over and talk a little bit more about what else is going on, because Bray Wyatt, even though he is consuming the professional wrestling week like we like to consume our Rogue Energy drinks, I want to talk to maybe a different kind of a family, kind of maybe a club, in reference maybe the debut of a couple good brothers, so to speak. Your guys' thoughts on this? Carla, I know we saw your live reaction during this on Monday night. But just our general thoughts of seeing Carl Anderson, not Carl Carabel, but Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows back in WWE alongside with AJ Styles going up against the Judgment Day. Your thoughts?
This is good, brother. Again, the tag divisions, they need this extra oomph, and that's exactly what this delivers for them. I know that not everybody is the biggest fan of the Good Brothers, and whatever. Yeah, to each your own. I think they're good. I think that as a tag team, they're very, very strong. And I think that their addition into the tag team division to WWE is exactly what that tag division needs. Somebody who actually poses a threat due to the longevity as a team and to the titles that they have held collectively. There is that possibility that they go in and they pose a good, strong threat to people like the Usos, who are standing strong at a division that under the last regiment was considered to be rather weak. And now it's looking like it's got the ability to grow, to expand. And one of the really cool things about this as well, too, is that this opens up a new world of possibility, because both of these two guys, and I know Mel can confirm this, are still tied to New Japan Pro Wrestling with some of the dates and are going to be honored at the same time, if I'm not mistaken, including an appearance for, I can't remember which one, if it's Carl or not, but Wrestle Kingdom is actually scheduled and is going to be there. And Triple H very open and worked out the negotiations with New Japan. New Japan were very aware that this was going to go down, and there seems to be enough of a working relationship between the two to allow this to happen, which previously wouldn't.
Yeah, we always say that with Triple H, anything, or I'm saying anything is a possibility, but you can't never say never, because Carl Anderson is your IWGP never open weight champion. So what's very interesting about this, and Carl, before I get to you about Carl, the fact that it's already opening, maybe a different set of forbidden doors, so to speak, towards a possible working relationship between WWE and other people, which we know in the past WWE was trying to get a working relationship with New Japan. In fact, they were trying to use then Bryan Danielson as the wedge to use that. Could this be the new wedge, not a pitching, not a send, but a wedge, so to speak, to a possible working relationship with WWE and maybe New Japan?
A golf reference? Really? A golf
Hey man, I'm
reference?
swinging for the fences here.
First off,
Yeah.
yes, there we go. The Good Brothers. I'm happy that they are back. I know Mel is happy for one side of the Good Brothers and Carl Anderson, and maybe not so keen on Festus. Luke Gallows.
Festivus.
I'm okay with it. I definitely am. The only problem that I can see is that they're going to continue on with this comedic style that they have in every other company that they've kind of gone to and been with. That I don't think is going to work when you've got teams like the New Day, who, yes, the New Day can be comedic at times, but they get very freaking serious. You've got the Usos, who are a very serious tag team. I think that's going to be the issue, is that they're going to try to do too much comedic. They're going to be too juvenile. And that's going to be a downfall, I feel. And that's, again, like Mel says, I mean, that kind of comes back to, Luke Gallows. Carl Anderson is very much so a professional when it comes to the business. And it really comes off that way from everything that I have seen with Carl Anderson. Gallows, maybe not so much.
But the way around this as well, too, because people are so accustomed to seeing them in that goofy sense and stuff like that, instead of a full-blown, complete attitude change on screen just because they come back to WWE, if you were to still run it like that, but that's what seems to be interrupting their progress as a team within the WWE fold. That's holding them back from really getting to the top and getting those title shots and everything like that. And that's where you bring in Machine Gun Carl Anderson, where he starts telling him, like, no, man, we need to smarten up. Enough of the goofy stuff. We need to take this seriously. If we want to be, named in this company as, guys who held the titles, held them for long periods of time, stand up there with all the best in this company, we need to change our act, and we need to change it now. And you see that serious side begin to unfold, and then the victories start coming. And then inevitably the big championship title win that might be remembered more because of the way you built to it.
Yeah. I just want to get to a comment. One, Ed, swinging for the fairway. One, you've never seen me play golf. And two, I don't swing for the fairway. I swing for the Olay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
but no, one thing I do want to say, like, I like how there's emphasis back onto the tag division. I think that's very nice to see when WWE is bringing back talent. They're looking at all divisions. And we saw at SummerSlam, we saw, the injunction of more talent with the women's division. We're now seeing Bray Wyatt. We're seeing Karrion Kross. We're seeing a venture of different people. But now we're finally getting a tag team. I mean, yeah, we got Hit Row, and that was a faction, but really, when you bring back Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, they're a very formidable tag team that's been around for a lot of years. They've done a lot of things, whether it's through the global world, whether it's New Japan, TNA, or Impact Wrestling, and then Touchdown Saints. Fuck yeah. But then with WWE and also with AEW, as they did a few things there as well, very relevant, staying very relevant, but they're also a tag team that brings instant credibility. And as former Raw World Champions, the team that actually lost those tag titles to the returning Hardy Boys, might I add, it's just nice to see. Plus, it also helps elevate AJ Styles back into programs that we want to see, because for the last little while, he's just been put to wherever suits best. And for somebody like AJ Styles, we want to see him in good feuds. And the fact that they're now feuding with the guy who created the Bullet Club in one Finn Balor, known as, Virgil Devitt, it's just nice to see a little bit of continuity again. And now there's a little bit more reference, which they've always done. But what I like is that it's fresh. And yeah, maybe I can understand Mel being more hot for Carl and being more lukewarm for Gallows, but thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. But needless to say, this is a definitely good get, not only for WWE, but for many divisions. And the fact that now we can now have Finn Balor, AJ Styles continue working with each other without necessarily a championship around them, I think that it's really benefit for the depth of their program.
Can they please make this go long enough that we can have a one-on-one pure match between AJ Styles and Finn Balor at WrestleMania? I think that being the ultimate payoff with those two in a one-on-one competition is exactly where we need to be at. But also, this opens up the door of possibility for Survivor Series looking like a Survivor Series pay-per-view for the first time in how many decades, because you've got so many groups and factions involved within the realm of WWE now that you can have the Judgment Day versus the OC, as I'm assuming they're going to run by for now anyway, at least. But again, it doesn't have to be 4v4. 3v3 works as a Survivor Series match anyway. And I think instead of shoveling a fourth person into each side, I think there's a perfect opportunity, unless you go and have Rhea involved on the other side and you bring in somebody on the side of the OC there to work with them again. I mean, there's also the possibility of Liv Morgan, if she doesn't go to the Bray Wyatt side, for her to join there. I think this makes a Survivor Series start to look that much more exciting, with the possibility of all the different style of traditional Survivor Series matchups that we could get, and finally get a Survivor Series that won't be forgettable by the next day.
Yeah, and one of the rumored War Game matches that could be happening at Survivor Series is the Judgment Day with Rhea Ripley included against a team of potentially AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and maybe a female presence as well. I'm very curious on who that could be, because obviously we could see Beth Phoenix be a part of this. We also could see Liv Morgan be a part of this, as she was once kind of indicted into the in the club, as we say, when she teamed with AJ and Finn to ironically go up against the Judgment Day, which then had Edge, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley, who she also used to be tag partners with. So a lot of continuity with that one. Another name I want to bring out to you that could we see this is also a little bit of continuity with AJ Styles, and that is through a mixed match challenge, and that potentially could be the return of Charlotte Flair.
Interesting.
Now, I'm not saying this is what I want, but man, I would be open for more Charlotte Rhea interaction, and I think that is a name value that doesn't disappoint you when we're talking about AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, members of the old Bullet Club.
Fair.
I'm done with Charlotte. I don't want Charlotte anywhere near my television screen. I threw up in my mouth a little bit when you mentioned Charlotte Flair's name. I'm done with the Flairs.
Okay, well then Carl, because I like it better when you are able to swallow at your own will, I'm going to throw out another name, Becky Lynch.
I could be down with that.
There we go. As long as we're keeping it down, that's all right.
No spitting here.
But it's only because we don't deserve the queen. Oh my god. Oh. We can't make anyone happy at this show. I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Let's just throw random names out there and see how people react for the rest
I'm just trying to bust people. Let me
Bring back
enjoy
a
my
laundry
busting
blaze.
time.
Oh yeah, there we go.
But no, I mean,
what's sensational?
Let's get
Sherry
Sunny out
doing
of
these
jail.
days?
that's kind of the point of of why I'm saying this is like, who would be the right female to be a part of this if there was a female? Because from my understanding, there has never really been a true female presence of Bullet Club.
Not that I'm aware of, anyway. Mel, tell us.
Yeah. So, what would be the right one? Yeah, like I get Liv Morgan could work, but I mean, there's a lot of indications that she could be with Bray and with the personality stuff. So I know I guess I'm shooting blanks on this one.
Yeah, I mean, where do you go?
That's gonna get clipped, isn't it? By the way,
that's it better get clipped. It's the only way we're going to get that many more people watching every week just to find out what we say next. But I mean, arguably, I think Beth Phoenix is the most logical choice in terms of what's been going on and everything like that. Edge can't have the participation because he's been taken out. Obviously, and she wants to get her hands on Rhea, and if you want to keep that whole storyline going, I think them inviting Beth Phoenix to be on their side in order to be able to go up against Rhea Ripley within that realm, I think makes the most logical sense.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing else. Sorry, Carl, I'll let you go.
No, I just you were talked about the Bullet Club and females in the Bullet Club. Really, the two big names that stand out to me are Amber O'Neil, I believe. Yes, Amber O'Neil, who, from what I understand, is actually married to Luke Gallows right now. Yes, Bullet Bunny is officially a member of the Bullet Club, and Brandy Rhodes was a part of the Bullet Club as well. And we know that there's been some talks of a returning Brandy Rhodes to the WWE as well in an in-ring capacity. So it kind of makes a little sense.
My question is, will we ever see that was kind of where I was going to go with, will we see the Rhodes involved in this? It is very amazing to see how many former Bullet Club members are right now associated with WWE. We know 4 right now just in this feud alone, but it's to me amazing to me to see this. Yes, it's kind of been there already, but would we, 1, see the Rhodes get involved in this, and 2, I'm going to just flat out ask, are we sick and tired of Bullet Club references nowadays?
That's a lot of questions, but I'll take the. As far as the Bullet Club goes, yes, I think it's run its course, kind of like the NWO eventually did when it starts branching out and doing too much. It doesn't have the cool factor that it once did. The reference to them having a faction at any point in time is always welcomed, in the sense that bringing in the history behind the people inside the ring is great, but the more you just keep playing on it, even the name, the OC being the original club, it gets to be a little bit draining, because I mean, this is not what it was when it formed or anything like that, but referencing that it existed and not pretending that, outside of the WWE nothing ever happened is the best plan moving forward, because it gives casual fans that are tuning in an opportunity to get a little bit more in-depth knowledge with who they're seeing. They might not know who's on their screen, but when you start to say, okay, this is a world-renowned wrestler, you're, in the sense of the Good Brothers, these are guys who have won titles all over Japan. They've won multiple tag team titles across North America. When you start bringing in those accolades and referencing their past, it really boosts them up as being the credible stars that they want to be seen as, and only helps them moving forward. as for what was the other part of the question there, Parrish? I think I've already lost my train of thought here. But
no, it was whether or not we want to see the roads involved, and if
the roads, yes, okay,
yeah.
yeah. So, and as far as I'm concerned on that one, the answer is no. I don't really have I'm not trying to be rude to Brandy Rhodes. I just don't think she adds enough to it on her own to really do anything to this one. And I think they need to save Cody. If Cody's ready to go, I don't think they need him coming out for Survivor Series. I think Cody Rhodes needs to be that surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble that you're not expecting. They keep it silent. All of a sudden, the music hits. He comes out. The place is going to pop, obviously, for a guy who's recovered from that kind of injury, who gave him such a badass match before he had to take off for injury. He is that John Cena return that you're not expecting, that's going to get that massive pop and go over big time. And I think that's where they need to save Cody for.
Yeah. I also kind of want to take this time to also talk about Legado del Fantasmas in WWE. If by chance they ever want to do a triple threat war games, I would have a lot of time adding Legado del Fantasma, who does have a female presence in the return of Selena Vega in there. Yeah, I know that's a quick shift, but I mean, if you expect us to stay on track, then you're on the wrong show, people. I hop more trains than a bad bunny. All right, so and that was reference to the movie that he was in the train. Yeah. But yeah, so what are your guys' thoughts about Legado del Fantasma, and would you guys like to see them included in some of this? Let's just go with it, but this stable warfare in WWE right now that we're slowly getting.
Let's go to you first on that one, Carl.
I don't want to see it just yet.
Yeah.
We've just seen them come back in. We've just seen them with Vega. Like they're building right now, and we need to see more from them before we just start throwing them into warfare with factions.
Yeah.
I want to see more from them first before I start seeing them taking on these already established factions.
Yeah. And again, I think it sets up beautifully to have, say, them work something with, say, like a Hit Row or somebody along those lines to start off with. They could go and have a traditional Survivor Series match with somebody like a Hit Row to establish that there even is this warfare amongst factions at the moment, kind of thing. I think with a War Games, I think it's too much of a payoff to something that isn't there yet. It's just a matter of, I call it, overbooking in a sense, because like even the idea of a triple threat War Games match bugs me a bit, because you've already got the gimmick there. The gimmick is War Games, and when you start to add triple threat, well, a triple threat really essentially is a gimmick match in itself. So when you add that, it's like, okay, now you're adding a gimmick to a gimmick, which is really overdone quite a bit these days in professional wrestling, where everybody thinks that adding another stipulation to a stipulation match makes it more exciting. And I feel it takes away from the authenticity of the gimmick itself.
Right. I you know what, I agree with that. I have to agree with Mel kind of a little bit here as well. She says, I don't know if that's supposed to say down or done with Bullet Club, Rise Up, Los Ingobernables. I'm loving Los Ingobernables. No matter what, and again, for those of you that don't know, they're like the Spanish Bullet Club. Essentially is and no, they're not, but that's kind of how I can equate them to everyone to kind of understand. So they're another faction that has smaller sub factions all over the place as well. They're absolutely fantastic, and I love that group coming up. But back to your point there, I think yes, like in something with Hit Row, yes. I can definitely be okay with that, because we've just seen Hit Row come back, right? And now we're going to see, this new faction come in. So for them to start a program together would be fantastic, and let them work, and let's see how they can work as a faction together before moving on to other factions.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. It's to me very interesting to see WWE use so many multi-person factions nowadays. Uh, we have the Bloodline, we have Hit Row, we have now Legado del Fantasma, we have Judgment Day, we now have the Good Brothers back, and then we also have Damage Control. When you got to think about that, like that, there's also them, and you can't really ever forget about Damage Control being really the only multi-women stable and the only
For now.
trio. Right now. So it's very interesting just to see kind of this aspect in WWE because they have not done this in a long time, but definitely seems like Triple H is definitely putting his stamp on multi-person groups and tag teams right now, which I think is very nice to watch. Bobby, I'm going to go to you, and I'm going to give you a new nickname, by the way, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Because you are not only the person who always has topics on hand, but I feel like today I'm going to now deem you my Topic Thunder Buddy.
Topic Thunder Buddy. That is an interesting one. I mean, you say I got topics on hand. It's like I feel like very unprepared for this week. Like I feel like we covered all the big news and stuff like that. I mean, we'd have to like start digging down deep. And I think I announced it at the top of the show about what's going on the MLW fold. But I mean, we want to talk for a minute about how much they just jazzed up their commentary team with the addition of Matt Stryker coming in to add to the commentary of MLW. I mean, if you're going to come back and you're going to come back big, then having Matt Stryker join the fold as of October 30th is great, as well as the big match announced. Davey Boy Smith Jr. is coming back. He's going to be teaming up with the Billington brothers to take on the Beaumaye Fight Club, which I think is massive news and a big throwback to the Dynamite Kid and the British Bulldog as a team, being able to have that on television. I think that's one of the great parts of MLW is just their ability. Yeah, there we go. Their ability to really, play off the history of professional wrestling. And they've done that so beautifully throughout, especially over the last few years. Just an homage back to the things that people grew up on and loved about pro wrestling is all there on display.
I do like that. And Bobby, just to inform everyone who maybe doesn't necessarily get to watch or doesn't know how to watch MLW, what is the best way to watch some MLW action?
Well, that's good. If you have BN Sports, they are still available on BN Sports, so you can check them out there. Up until recently, it was through their YouTube channel, and that was the easiest way to catch them on a Thursday night. But starting on November 3rd, as I said, closer to the top of the hour, is that they are making a switch over, and you got to go and check this out. It's Pro Wrestling Television or Pro Wrestling TV. You can check out the downloadable app. You can check it out on your computer right now, or not right now, after we're off the air. Go feel free to check it out. Or if you happen to have a smart TV and you download the Plex channel, Plex is 100% free. They have movies, they got television shows. They also have some live television channels, and one of those channels being Pro Wrestling TV. And there's a lot of independent companies on there. There's a lot of highlights of women's wrestling and women's wrestling talk that happens on Pro Wrestling TV. You can skip by the Control Your Narrative stuff. I wouldn't blame you because it's hot garbage and nobody wants to see it. But aside from that, they've got the best deal they can, and they're bringing in MLW. So on November the 3rd, you're going to be able to check out the Battle Riot 4 from MLW airing that night, either on one of those versions of using Pro Wrestling TV. So go check it out. You can sign up 100% free and start watching more pro wrestling as of today.
Nice. Well, thank you for that. And I just want to now
cool.
I was about to transition to Seth Rollins winning the U.S. title, and that just comes out of nowhere. I have no idea what was happening.
Like somebody invaded the airwaves.
I mean, it's almost like people want us to know something. But yeah, no. I mean,
Ole!
couldn't have said it better myself.
The people have heard us say it enough, but now they're going to hear it more often because on October the 24th, 2022, the debut of our local establishment, OLE Podcast, is going to be coming through, and you're going to be able to check out a bunch of wonderful shows, not just pro wrestling based. That's the great thing about Ole. It is a community of people bringing you a lot of different things from pop culture, movies, television, music, as well as pro wrestling. So focuses on shows like this, Busting Out, Turnbuckle Talk, Taking Over, Fusion on Thursday nights. Those types of shows are going to be part of Ole. But again, Carl, I think that we should take a great opportunity to allow you to speak to the debut of Ole and the first big debut we have coming up on the 24th. Let's talk a little Paramindful for a moment there.
Oh God, Paramindful is going to be an absolute amazing show if you guys are into the world of, as Mel says down there, spooky ooky-ish stuff. We're talking anything paranormal, whether it's ghosts, angels, demons, Mothman, Dogmen, werewolves, Dracula, Suicide Forest, Bermuda Triangle, haunted houses, aliens, whatever it is that is within the realm of paranormal, we're going to be talking about. There's going to be 3 of us on the program. Mel is one of them, Alex and myself. And our first episode is going to debut on the 24th. Yeah, you're going to want to tune in for this one.
Yeah, a lot of people excited about it. It's going to be great. And I know Ed mentioning about VWR. Ed, I don't know how much you want us to start revealing about VWR. I think we might even leave that up to you for the unveiling of VWR, but another great show that we have coming to OLE Podcast as well, too. So I encourage everybody to go over to our local establishment on Twitch to follow and get prepared for that debut on the 24th, as well as our YouTube channel and our multiple social media channels as well too. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's just a community of awesome people coming together to present the things we love about everything. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. We get our opportunity to get out there and do the shows that we've always been wanting to do. And it's been a great gamble on doing this. And I think that this is going to hit it off big and be exciting for everybody. And we want everybody to be encouraged. If you're somebody who likes to get in the comments section and talk to us, that's what we're encouraging. It's not just our local establishment. It's all of our local establishment. And that's what Ole is about. It's about everybody coming together to create a community of wonderful people.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I just would also want to take this time to, again, thank every single one of you who have not only made time to take away from your Saturday morning or potentially early afternoon, depending on where you are living, to watch this, but also making the time and effort to show that love and support and say follow and do all that good stuff for my personal Twitch, which I hope in return you will also do that with the Ole, our local establishment one, as well, as we are nearing the 50 followers already, and we could not say thank you enough for already that support. But if you don't mind, we'd like to get the word out because we'd like to do what you would like us to do. It's also a platform where we want to make sure everyone is feeling happy and grateful about the content they watch. So please, if you have any ideas, suggestions, anything like that, please send them our way, as we are not only on Twitch, we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So please check out whether it's our local establishment or OLE Pods throughout your social network. I also kind of want to, I know we talked a little bit about, or I mentioned Pac losing that Mid-Atlantic Championship to Orange Cassidy early in the broadcast, but I also want to talk about Seth freaking Rollins defeating Bobby Lashley for the U.S. Championship after we saw a very surprising return of Brock Lesnar, which absolutely blew my mind. I did not expect it, but I mean, Carl, we saw your reaction. Let's start there. Your reaction not only to see Brock Lesnar back, but also Seth freaking Rollins as your new WWE United States champion.
Brock Lesnar being back, absolutely fantastic. I know he's a part-timer. I know that that's all he comes in and does, but I am very happy that he is back, as I have always been a fan of Brock Lesnar, and I'm happy that he's not coming back to go vie for a championship right away, which leads into Bobby Lashley dropping that championship, the United States Championship, to Seth Rollins, which I think is a very good idea as well. Seth Rollins has been super over and super hot for a very long time now. And while I don't know who's going to dethrone Roman Reigns, I know it's not going to be Seth Rollins. We've been there, we've done that, we've tried, we've gone through the motions. Unfortunately, we're just not going to see Seth Rollins in a world championship contention anytime soon. But to have that strap around his waist as the United States champion, I think is fan-freaking-tastic.
It shows the emphasis that Triple H is putting on the other titles, including the US and the Intercontinental belt. He's making them relevant. He's putting them on people that can bring relevance to those championships as well, too. And that's the nice thing for Seth. It also was the nice way to take it off Bobby without him just flat out losing a clean matchup, to have a surprise in Brock Lesnar coming in. And now, again, like you said, Carl, he's not going after a championship. And I think this is the best part, because we've seen Brock the champion 100,000 times. We know that he's tough. We know he's a badass. We know all this. To see him come in as a surprise, and I say surprise because we weren't sure if he was done completely or not with the way he ended things. He comes in and he wants that big money match, which doesn't have to involve the title belt that we've seen a million times. We've all wanted Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar for a long ass time, and now we're going to get it. And that's what the company needs to do with Brock, is make him an Andre the Giant level competitor, in a sense that he's not there to be winning the belt. He's not there to be put over in the main event championship runs. He is there for the big spot, that money-making match. And I say money-making because Brock Lesnar is a name. He brings that into the company, and whoever he's fighting is going to be brought up and elevated, in the sense that they're being put into a main spot with a guy who, because of what he's accomplished, the championship is a little, I don't want to say below him, because the championship is important, but his name level is above where the championship is at this point.
I mean, you can definitely argue the point that it might not be his main focus, but what is potentially avenging the loss he had to Bobby Lashley earlier in the year. And maybe that's more his focus right now. He knows he has the capability of going to that championship, but perhaps right now, maybe Brock Lesnar is mentally unstable because he shook from losing yet again to Roman Reigns for that championship. And with the baggage that comes not only with the bloodline, but with Paul Heyman, his former advocate, that now his focus is now towards avenging anybody that got ahead on him, Bobby Lashley being one. I find it very ironic that Bobby Lashley lost the U.S. championship and then is upset with how he lost that championship, despite the fact that he is the reason why Drew McIntyre lost his WWE championship to The Miz in the same way. So I kind of thought full circle right now. But what I do like is that we now have a true heavyweight matchup that's not for this championship. It could be a number one contender ship title, because I don't think any of us would have anything negative to say about a potential Roman Reigns Bobby Lashley championship match. But again, what's nice is that we're seeing feuds that don't need a championship to stay relevant. And we're seeing Brock Lesnar now being introduced into those roles, which I think is very important for, again, the depth of the product, because you need to not only make your other championships feel important, but you need to make your titles feel important by having a struggle just to get to that point.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anybody who has represented a struggle out of the last little while than Rey Mysterio, who is vying for a championship now, as he defeated Sheamus, as he defeated Ricochet, And I believe the other person he defeated was Solo Sikoa in that 4-way on SmackDown and became the #1 contender to Gunther's Intercontinental title. And we're talking about the importance of championships. Nothing makes a championship more important than seeing those #1 contender matches and showing the absolute war guys are willing to go through just to get an opportunity. Not only closing thoughts on Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, but transitioning to that into Rey Mysterio, now a full-time member of SmackDown, thus creating that space away from the Judgment Day, possibly ending that, and now doing something on his own, going up against Gunther.
Yeah. And I mean, fantastic, first of all, because separating him from the Judgment Day angle allows Dominic to have an opportunity to show what he can do without having his dad there to make it happen, kind of thing. Yes, it's good that they're still protecting Dominic within a group setting because he needs it right now, but he needs to step away from his dad. At the same time, you got Rey Mysterio, who has the guy missed a beat in his entire last 3 decades in professional wrestling. The guy is incredible. His shape is incredible. His ability is incredible. And the reason, like, so many people look at Rey and think, oh, you can get any smaller guy over to a championship run and stuff like that. It's not quite the same. Rey is a different beast altogether. And the reason being is that Rey knows how to get there and he knows how to sell it against big guys. And when you put him up against someone the level of Gunther, who's a big man, who's very, very presented as a monster at this point, this is great on 2 different levels, because you got a guy like Rey that knows how to work that style of match with a guy like Gunther. You know that they're going to give each other absolute hell in this Intercontinental title matchup here. But at the same time, in doing so, you're also going to elevate Gunther and really set him as a main event player. The more that he continues to beat guys who have been to the dance, they've been former WWE champions, and you present them as guys who go in there and have these competitive contests against Gunther, you not only make the Intercontinental title look stronger, you make Gunther look stronger, and you make him look like he's going to be a player in your main event level moving forward in the company.
Carl, your thoughts on Rey Mysterio now becoming the #1 contender to Gunther's Intercontinental title, and this creating that space from Judgment Day, but is also his son, Dominic Mysterio, and let alone almost quit the WWE until Triple H worked his cerebral magic.
That was a great way to transition him over to SmackDown. For him to do, I'm just going to quit, blah, 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 whatever. And then, Triple H, no, we'll figure it out type of thing. Great way to be able to make that move. Leaving that situation, I think, was needed. I think it was well played out, and not meaning like done well, but like well done steak. Like, it was just too much now, and I was over it, and I didn't care about it anymore. So to move over now to SmackDown, I think was fantastic. And who better to elevate again those secondary championships than a Rey Mysterio, a guy who has gone in there for the last 30 years and done matches with so many people, whether they've been small, even to the point of taking, I believe it was the World Heavyweight Championship off of the Big Show. So you've got like David Goliath type of situation going on there. Solidifies that Rey Mysterio definitely can do it. I'm excited for this. Do I really want to see Rey Mysterio with that championship? No, I don't. I don't think Rey Mysterio needs championships anymore. I don't think that the Intercontinental Championship even needs Rey Mysterio. I think it just needs that little bit of elevation, which Rey Mysterio can do as he's, jumping out into the sky, right? So
yeah, and what's nice is like if people are ever asking, has he been the Intercontinental Champion? The answer is yes, and he beat someone pretty big himself, John Bradshaw Layfield, to become that Intercontinental Champion. So, and that was no joke, even though he was dressed as the Joker in that match. But needless to say, Rey Mysterio has definitely defied odds throughout his entire career. He was known once as a giant killer based on not only his times against Kevin Nash, the giant now referred to as the Big Show, or just Paul White. But then also going up against, just the much larger individuals in professional wrestling and coming out pretty well. Like, I still remember his match with Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series a couple years back, and it was just a treat to watch. If there's somebody who I think can not only grab that sympathetic card in a match better, it's Rey Mysterio. And let's be honest, even if he lost, nobody's going to think less of Rey Mysterio. He is still the greatest luchador ever in professional wrestling. He's probably the greatest man under 6 feet to do it. And that might be close because Shawn Michaels also short himself. But my God, I mean, Rey Mysterio, as your shirt says, Carl, a living legend in professional wrestling, has done so much for people. And I saw a very amazing moment, and that was just the one-on-one he had with Ricochet in that Fatal 4-Way, and just how amazing they just came together. And I don't think this match would ever need a heel babyface dynamic, but my God, do I want to see an all-out war in that ring done the right way between Rey Mysterio and Ricochet once, because my God, their transitions, their movement, their creativeness was just second to none. And I could not imagine what we could see with Gunther, who opens up a different book of possibilities with Rey Mysterio on how they can execute that match, on top of the fact that Imperium is still feuding with the Brawling Brutes. So we have no idea, factoring that, if we could see maybe, I don't know, kind of very similar to when Mankind won that WWF championship, potential maybe a cluster, happening, and Rey Mysterio just being at the right place at the right time. Could very well happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying I want it to happen. I'm just saying it could happen. And given the right story, it might be okay. However, I do believe that the story between Sheamus and Gunther was properly sidetracked for the short time being, because I do believe Sheamus should win that championship at WrestleMania.
I think just the handling of Gunther on the main roster in general has been done brilliantly the entire time. I mean, the way he can, it's a testament to how he conducts himself, how Imperium conducts themselves, but it's also a matter of putting them over. It started slow, obviously, when they first came out, is some squash matches, stuff like that. But now it's getting into that level of people, former champions, that want to challenge this guy. This is the new young big boss on the show that they need to try to put an end to before he gets, to that level. But in the process, he's getting to that level and everything. And yeah, the things with the Brawling Brutes has been done beautifully. I believe the match with Rey is going to be phenomenal. I think that it's going to be very competitive. And again, it comes down to Rey knowing how to utilize his size properly and stuff like that. You won't see Rey going in there and within seconds throwing a clothesline and expecting Gunther to bump to him, which happens all too often and really enrages me when I see shit like that. But I think more so Rey knows how to work down a big guy. He's going to break down the legs. He's going to do everything he can to get Gunther's momentum off of him and then come in with those explosive moves that everybody loves that they'll pop for. I think this one's going to go back and forth. There's going to be some near falls that you'll be excited about, like, holy shit, like Rey just about won the IC belt and everything, inevitably leading to a Gunther victory. But I think it's going to be so competitive that not only is Rey going to look like someone who can still challenge for belts, but it's going to make Gunther and that IC belt look like, wow, this has gone to that level enough where if they don't separate the world championships, you can start to call the IC belt and the US title the main TV spot shows, or titles, sorry, the ones that they use on Raw and SmackDown regularly to elevate championships on the shows.
Yeah, I would have zero issue with, your WWE world titles as your selling points because of how rare maybe they get defended on your PLEs, now not known as pay-per-views, come on, some people still pay for that stuff, so whatever. But again, you also have, your workhorse title, like the Intercontinental title has been deemed in the past. Even in WCW, the United States the United States Championship kind of got that same recognition to an extent. And it kind of is getting there now, as I think it's very much a workhorse championship. Just look at the guy holding it now. But I mean, it's nice to see, when you go to a TV taping or you're watching a show, that there's still going to be that championship and potentially a championship switch like we saw on Monday Night Raw. It's very nice to see. We even saw it on Dynamite as well on Wednesday. But it was just so nice to see that you're, as a member of the audience or even a member of the viewing audience, you're still watching something of value, despite the fact that that maybe the big thing might happen later on when you're not watching or you're not there live. So I think that's really cool. And I want to kind of put this out in the ether, but maybe, just maybe, this is a small hint that maybe by taking a championship off Gunther now could mean that the long-term plan could be maybe Gunther being the chosen one to take the championship off Roman Reigns.
For me, that's too soon. I don't think he's the right character for it, all things considered, at the moment, just because I think what they're doing with him is the right thing to do. And I think mixing him up with Roman at the moment isn't the direction to go. I think you need more of a sympathetic, pure babyface champion for Gunther to go over. I think Gunther needs to go over in a very dirty fashion, and Roman Reigns, with having a faction behind him, doesn't allow for that level of booking. I feel like it would be stronger if the person who conquers Roman, say a Cody Rhodes or somebody along those lines, that it's their dream, it's their passion, this is their moment and stuff like that. When they finally get stomped out by somebody the level of Gunther, it is going to enrage the fans. Like, no, how did this SOB come in here and beat our hero? Like, I can't believe this. And that starts the Imperium championship run at the top, kind of thing.
The one thing I would love to see, though, is potentially, before I go to you, Carl, because I know I just interrupted you 100%, and I apologize for that. I'm not sold with Austin Theory as being Money in the Bank and being a guy who cashes that in, even if it's unsuccessfully. I do believe that he is designed to get some heat. That briefcase is designed to get him some heat, but therein lies the fact that maybe he's going to put his foot in his mouth and lose that briefcase. And I have a feeling that's going to be how Roman Reigns loses that championship based on a situation. Why couldn't Gunther or whatever you want to call him be a guy that does something like that? And Carl, I'll go to you in terms of like what you think could be the best play for Gunther and Roman Reigns. What are your opinions on this? Because I do think there's a plethora of options that you could go here with both men.
There definitely is, and I think that this needs to be a slow build. So the fans are now just really starting to get to know who Imperium is and who I almost said Walter, who Gunther is. I just want to say with this, okay, I want Pete Dunne back. Okay, I'm just throwing it out there. You threw something out into the ether. I'm throwing this out there to the universe. Pete Dunne, please come back. Screw this Butch shit. Pete Dunne, come back. Gunther is an amazing professional wrestler. I have known about Gunther even before his time with the WWE. I love the look that he has now. He has really gotten himself toned, buffed, and in shape instead of being as I am in shape. Yes, round, because round is a shape. He has done so much to really make himself as that top tier guy, but the fans don't know who he is quite yet. We have not seen everything that we can from Gunther, and I am really yes. And I am really, really excited for not only myself, who has seen the true Gunther, but for everyone else to see who Gunther really is, then we can have a program with Roman Reigns, which will then be more believable that Gunther can take that championship and be the top guy in the company.
I'm also just going to say, we talk about how amazing it is when things come full circle. My body decided to come full circle a little while ago. And let me tell you something, it shaped up and got really round. So it's okay.
Just go take a poop.
You'll be damn fine. Those years, damn those mid-30s, eh?
Oh my, they're challenging. They're definitely challenging. But what I love about the usage of Gunther right now is the fact that nothing is rushed with him right now. And I don't want him to, win the title, say tomorrow or, in 5 minutes. I would love to see time after Mania. Like I would like to see like maybe a Money in the Bank kind of a build towards that, because I do think when he loses that Intercontinental title at some point, it should matter. It should help elevate that next holder. I believe that wholeheartedly. When you are a champion and you have to let go of it, that title should automatically help elevate the next guy right away because of the work you did as champion, if that makes sense. But what I like with Gunther right now is that I do think, given the right person, he is going to be that baby face. I don't think Roman Reigns is going to go through many scenarios right now, as long as he's champion, where he's not looked at as a heel, mainly because I think a lot of people are going to slowly become impatient with him as champion and want somebody just to beat him, that they're going to cheer whoever is against him at that point. And that's why I still think the right guy to take that title off him is still Cody Rhodes. I said that before Cody Rhodes came to the WWE. However, I also would not be against Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens at this point or injunction.
Yeah. I still think that there's build to get there with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And speaking of putting things into the ether, because it's been mentioned several times, it's my turn now. Stop Money in the Bank ASAP. I don't like it. I don't want it. I think it is a cop-out for pushing people when you can build them properly. The only way I see it viable is to stop with the whole cashing in when somebody's already hurt. If you're going to have Money in the Bank, make it where you have earned an opportunity to cash in at the pay-per-view or premium live event of your choice to face the champion. And that's the way it's done in some other companies. And I think it's a perfect way of doing it, because then the person goes in, they get that opportunity. They might not necessarily beat the champion, but they have now gone to the dance and they give a competitive match. And now they're looked at as somebody who does pose a threat to the championship title and everything. And you do elevate them, you do push them without immediately having to go, oh, we pushed them by throwing the title on them because they beat some guy who just went through 30 minutes of hell. I feel it's counterproductive to the person's push in so many ways. It has worked for some, but I don't think it's really connected on the ways that they intend for it to connect. What you could do with strongly having them go in and look like the fighting type of person that they are, where it's like, no, I'm going up against this guy. It's going to happen next month at the premium live event. And then you can build to it. That's the best part. You can build it up.
I'm just going to point it out there that if John Cena was to come and do that one match with Austin Theory and win the Money in the Bank briefcase, and that is how he became a 17-time world champion, I would be okay with it, because, oh my God, would people lose a lot of their proverbial shits, and I would have a lot of time for that, because he's just a great professional.
I just think it's funny when the wrestling. I think it's funny when wrestling fans get bent out of shape over things. I think it's hilarious.
Imagine if Roman Reigns and The Rock did happen for the title at WrestleMania. Whoever wins that match, imagine if John Cena just comes out and just totally fucking steals that thing. That'd be the greatest.
Well, as rumor has it right now, the intent is for Roman Reigns to be champion past WrestleMania, but that's just rumor right now. And as you say, in the land of Triple H, you don't know what to expect.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Yeah. And you know what is possible? us actually ending. The train
Oh,
ride that is off
okay.
track.
Well, geez, I was starting to clear my schedule for a full afternoon.
Well, I mean, we could. I mean, like everything negative, we can keep going. But I do think it's time to say thank you to everyone for spending the last 90 some minutes with us. We appreciate it. Carl, very much just want to say thank you to you for joining in last minute, coming aboard the bus station. Yeah.
I like it.
We're now the bus station. 2 subscribers.
You need to
too.
say the train station because this train derails quite often.
Yeah, but they derail at the bus station. The bust. B-U-S-T.
Yeah.
B-U-S-T. Bust. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Never said it was good. It's just a thing.
We're the UST of Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Pat, you tried.
We're the NFTs of common sense. You might get us, you might not, but you're going to learn to know what we are. Yeah, whatever.
But here's something that's not a whatever. You got yourself 2 subscribers as of today, but there you go.
And thank you so much. I appreciate that. I actually do appreciate that because I never thought in a million beers I would ever have people paying to listen to me talk about things that really you didn't need to know or don't. So I appreciate everyone just showing some love and support. That goes a long way. Could not even begin to tell you right now in just my life how much that's amazing to me and grateful. So I appreciate that. Carl, I appreciate you coming in last minute as well, helping us out. Let us know what you have coming up and where we could find you.
Well, I am thinking that Monday I may do another Raw watch along because I actually enjoyed it and it seems as though other people did too. So I may actually do another one of those on Monday. Tuesday will be Turnbuckle Talk coming at you at 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Down below in the ticker, you will see a site there, a Linktree site. Go there for me. Take a look. That is where all of my socials are, and I would really love if you were to go and follow me on my Twitch channel, as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel for Turnbuckle Studios. And while you're there, ring that bell so that you're notified every time a new video drops. Those are my only 2 requests. 3, I guess. Linktree, and then follow and sub.
And Bobby, we'll go with you.
Yeah. All right. How much time do we have left? No. Where can you find me?
24 hours.
Yeah. So the channel, my Twitch channel, Video Bro _ Bobby Munson, also hit affiliate status very recently, so that was very exciting. And thank you to everybody who has been following along and subbing as well too. So you'll be able to catch me variously throughout the week, playing video games on there. Of course, got to get those watch hours up. Of course, Thursday nights. We can't go wrong with Thursday nights. My cohort, my colleague, my brother, Papa Smokes and I with a new episode of Fusion to this week. Very exciting. We've got the Suplex Assassin, Alex Kane, joining us. So we will be starting at the earlier hour, 8:05 Eastern Standard Time. So join us for that because you'll be able to be interactive with the Suplex Assassin on Thursday night. Outside of that, you can also catch a new review that I did just on Friday night there. I reviewed the new Nothing More album Spirits, and the cool factor in this one, and I don't care how many people watch, follow, subscribe, the singer Johnny Hawkins actually liked my video and said he enjoyed it. So I mean, I'm good. It's all good. No,
you should totally now get him on. You should totally get him on to talk about the album now.
I really should. I should give it a shot. I mean, I've been turned down enough times before, so I mean, it's not like it's going to hurt my feelings. But I think I should make that attempt. I think that would be fantastic to have the honor to talk music with Johnny Hawkins. But speaking of talking music, Carl, I know we keep teasing it, but very very soon that Beats and Beatdown season 2, bigger, badder, and better. It's coming for everybody, and that's going to be part of the OLE podcast.
Yes, it is.
And Parrish, how about yourself?
Well, first off, I just want to take this time to thank that Canadian dude and Ed Fries, as well as you, video bro Bobby Munson for the subscriptions. I very much appreciate that one. Yeah, so thank you for that. But where you can find me right now, as I find that button, is Twitter at Chris Parrish, Instagram at Chris.Parrish, Twitch at the Chris Parrish, where yes, I am now the affiliated Subcontinental champion. Apparently there isn't a little bit of a heck yeah on that one, so I very much appreciate that. I also want people to follow twitch.com/our local establishment. Check out Ole Pods on all the social platforms. And if you want to know why we don't have a ticker for that one, well, I'm like a 1991 Honda Civic. I might be a car, I'm just not a smart car. So as of right now, that will be probably there next week, or maybe on Taking Over, where you can find me every Tuesdays alongside with the natural Astrid Pizarro as we talk everything NXT, recap NXT as they are grooming and scratching and spooky-ish, as Mel would say, towards Halloween Havoc. So make sure you're checking that out every Tuesday at about 10-ish Eastern time on my Twitch at Chris, or at the Chris Parrish. So you can check that out as long every Sunday. If you haven't been watching us for the last hour and 40 minutes, every Sunday, busting out as we have the return of the 6th episode of Busting Out. As we kind of get there, I gotta take that off as we get there. Yeah, there we go. If there's only one thing to say, I think it goes without saying.
Ole. Hey, wait, hold on. Before we go out, though,
yeah,
I don't know if Carl's taken the Ole Pod Challenge yet. Has he?
He has.
He has. Okay. I must have missed it.
Yep, he has.
All right.
I challenged him on his own show. To be
Perfect. Well, then we're all good here.
I know. I was so hoping I'd get Astrid on there because we all know how much he does not like to scream or yell. So that would have been fantastic. But maybe Bobby, if you're or Carl, you tune in on Tuesday, you can. I'm gonna hear about this one.
Yes, Ed made a clip of it.
Perfect.
So it is available.
Yeah,
keep those clips going.
Sounds like utter shit, but it's available.
It's all good.
I mean, with that being said, as we take our final gulp of the beverage I have detoured because I'm detouring my way away from streaming today, and I would like you guys to detour your guys' day towards a better one. So thank you, everyone, for coming out, joining, supporting, busting out. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
You can feel the root shaking as you're running out of breath. If you're ready to rock, we'll just let it fall. Are you ready now? Are you ready to move? Let's just move with me. Move with me.